Tehrani with TMC here. Thanks for watching. On our show today is Phil Edholm. He's the president and principal of PKE Consulting. Phil's been a keynoter at a number of TMC events like IT Expo in his capacities at Nortel and Avaya, and we're thrilled to have him on the show to talk about webRTC.
Exactly. It's an exciting topic. I think it's one of those things that's a real game changer, because what we're doing in this industry is we're actually doing the same thing the data industry, the information industry did back in 1990. So talk first about what webRTC is. For those of you who don't know what webRTC is taking the real-time media engine and putting it in the browser. So if you go buy an IP phone or you buy a soft client for your PC, you really have three components. There's the foundation that things run on, the phone hardware, the PC, the speakers, the microphone. There's the visual interface, and then there's what's called a media engine. And the media engine is the thing that takes my voice, turns it into packets, sends it over the network, gets them in, puts them back up. What webRTC is all about is taking that media engine and putting it directly in the browser. What that means now is when I want to communicate, I don't have to have a soft client anymore. With HTML5 for the visual interface, webRTC, it's just my browser. And if you think about this, this is exactly what happened back in 1990 with data, with information, right? We used to talk about servers talking to servers, which is exactly what we have in our communication world today. If I want to talk to you, my device has to talk to my server has to talk to your server talks to your device. With webRTC, I can just point my device at your server and interact with you. And it really can become a phenomenal change, because what we now can do is add communications to virtually everything. It's something that actually started with Google. Google has actually produced it as an open source. There's an open source version. It's in Chrome now, behind a flag. It'll be in the open release of Chrome before the end of the year. And it's going to be in Safari. Its standards efforts in W3C and in IETF. It's a really exciting transformation that really could change the industry in some fairly profound ways over the next 5 years. We could literally see our world change in communications just like the computing world changed from 1990 to 2000. If you remember, it was the browser came in and everything changed. So I think it's incredibly exciting.
What are the implications to the hardware companies that are out there today, and just, I mean, the companies that have proprietary systems that would compete with WebRTC?
I mean, I think it's not compete with WebRTC, because WebRTC is really enabling technology. So you can use it in two different ways. I mean, one way you can use it is if I'm a Cisco or Avaya or Microsoft, I can use WebRTC to build a soft client that just runs on a browser. You don't need to download anything. And that allows my customers to take the experience that I've given them as an enterprise and easily extend it to visitors to their location. So imagine for a moment, I'm on my browser, you have an Avaya or a Cisco or Microsoft or ShoreTel communication system, you have a guest port on your system. I point my browser at that URL, and the experience I get now is the full-featured, valued experience that gets delivered directly in the native mode on proprietary implementations to the users on that system. Similarly, if I'm an employee and I go home, I can sit on my home PC or my home tablet and get the full experience, just like I was in the office, without having to worry about downloading things. Takes a lot of the security issues out of the way. On the other side, though, you can now very easily add communications to other sites. So imagine in LinkedIn, where if I see you and we're linked together, I can click on a button and talk to you. Or on Facebook, or the one I think about is the Barney site, right? The kids are in the Barney playroom on the virtual Barney site, and you click on the walkie-talkie, and now you can talk to the other kids. Because what really happens is that just like the browser made getting information easy and allowed the experience to be defined by the server, webRTC is going to allow the communications experience, real-time communications, to be defined by the server you're connected to, not by the device you have.
Now, I assume your company, being in the consulting space, can assist companies that are looking to take advantage of webRTC. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things that I'm doing is working with a number of companies that are trying to understand how does this impact them in terms of their planning and their business. What does it mean for them? How they should be concerned about the rollout. Because there are challenges in any new technology like this. If you look, obviously Google, who sponsored this, and the open source community is very focused on it. Microsoft has been somewhat involved. There have been discussions about that Microsoft has some efforts underway, They haven't made a lot of formal announcements. The one company that's been very much out of the picture has actually been Apple. So it's going to be interesting to see how this rolls out. And I think that all runs into the strategy, you know, whether you're an existing telecommunications vendor, you're a potential new entrant, or adding communications onto your application, or even enterprises need to begin to think about how this technology is going to impact them and their decisions over the next 5 years.
Fantastic. Thanks for being here, Phil.
Thanks. Really appreciate it, Rich.